The Church of Our Lady of the Assumption's choir have been going strong for almost 69 years. The church's first Mass was held on the 15th of March 1953, and the choir who sang at that first Mass were drawn from several parishes around Dublin. The likes of Mead Street, Thomas Street, James Street and Sheriff Street, as these were the parishes where most of the new priests to Ballyfermot came from. In the late 1950s, the first choir was set up by Vincent Turley. Vincent came from the Choral Society in James Street. The choir was an all-girls choir, and most of them were from 12 to 16 years old, and were recruited from the Dominican convent choir. In the beginning, Vincent was teaching them to sing 1- and 2-part harmony. However, it wasn't long afterwards before they invited adults to join. Vincent didn't realise the talent in Ballyfermot, and at one stage there were over 70 singers in the choir and singing 4-part harmony. Susan met up with some of the original members of the choir in the Ballyfermot Library and got some of their memories from the old days in the choir.
How are you, Maura?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks a million for taking time out to talk to us today. We're going to talk to Maura here. She's from the Assumption Choir. Can you tell us just when you joined the Assumption Choir and maybe one of your fondest memories that you have of the choir?
Well, I joined the choir. I was 13 and we were sent over from the school. We had to do an audition. I think I was nervous having the audition, but we got through. I think my fondest memory is the year the Pope came, John Paul, in 1979. I remember going down Chapelizard Hill at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was cold, but we knew it was something different. We were in section 20, the choir. We were one of a lot of choirs. And I'll never forget that day. It was to look around and to see so many people, because there is a God. Even in these times, he's still there.
Very good. And you have a little booklet there.
I have a booklet. This is the booklet that was used by the choirs. And we sang with all the other choirs through the whole day. It was really lovely. There is a photograph here, and this is myself and my friend Angela. We don't remember even who took the photograph, but it'll always be there.
Fantastic. Thanks a million, Maura, for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, how are you? I'd like to welcome Father Tommy Taff here with us today. Father Tommy, could you tell us a memory of the Ballyfermot Assumption Choir that you might have?
Firstly, I was never a member of the choir.
Okay.
But as one of the older altar boys and helping the sacristan, I would often be responsible for evicting the choir at the end of their choir practice,
Brilliant.
which they weren't very keen to leave. And so it would be running over time, and it was important to get them out. During that time, however, I was introduced to classical music.
Lovely.
And I was introduced to a particular type of church music which I would not have ever known about.
Okay.
And I picked it up by having to wait for them to get out.
Right.
But I would say that, considering none of them or most of them did not have a musical training or the ability to read music or to be fluent in Latin or Italian, the choir produced a sound and a quality that was hard to match even by professionals.
Wow.
Which made them a very popular choir for people to come from all over Dublin just to listen to them.
Okay.
And to the extent that when they celebrated Mass, they were really, from the foundation of the choir into the early years, they were at the period of the Second Vatican Council, when the emphasis in the liturgy and the music was changing anyway.
Oh,
And so they were holding on to a tradition that most people would have been brought up with, but a new tradition was being introduced but had not yet been presented to the church at large, i.e. music in our own language and modern styles of music. So there was a gem being passed on in Ballyfermot
okay.
by Vincent Turley and the choir that was probably unknown to many people, that they were part of history in the making.
Wow. So when you were listening in, were they singing in Latin?
They were singing in
To begin
Latin.
with?
There would be
Right.
very few hymns in English.
Okay,
And at that time, the High Mass, as we called it, would be all in Latin.
right.
And people in general would be following their prayer books or saying their rosaries or counting the time to go home. But the dialogue was between the priest at one end of the church and the choir at the other.
Wow.
And when it came to certain parts, it was almost like motets for the choir, so the priest would sit down until they were finished.
Brilliant.
Or sometimes the priest would get on with Mass and he'd be near the end of it and they were still at the beginning of it, musically speaking.
Right. Yeah.
So it was if we talk about the Mass being a drama, we sometimes think of it as a production. No, this was dramatic in the sense that we were being lifted to a different level than was our daily experience in Ballyfermot.
Wow.
There weren't many people walking around singing Italian or Latin.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Father
And they
John.
sang at my ordination, and I've never forgotten it, because at the end, it was a bank holiday weekend in August when most people were away, and the choir stayed, and they finished Mass with Handel's Hallelujah from the Messiah.
Wow.
A beautiful piece of
Treasure.
music, and not taken on by many parish choirs. So, great memories of them.
Brilliant.
By the way, I spent most of my priesthood working in England, and on one particular afternoon I had my mother with me, sitting in Westminster Cathedral, all doors closed, because the Vienna Boys Choir were practicing for a concert that night to which it was impossible to get tickets. They were sold out at a high price. And I asked my mother when the choir took a break, "What do you think of that, the Vienna Boys Choir?" And she said, "Not a patch on Vincent Turley's choir."
Wow. Brilliant. Thank you. How are you, Terry?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks a million for taking the time out to talk to us today about the Ballyfermot
You're very welcome.
Assumption Choir. Can you tell us what age you were when you joined the choir?
I was 12. You had to have a major confirmation. And when I went over to the choir, it was an all-girls choir.
Right.
So you had to do your audition. You had to sing the scales with Vincent.
Okay.
So we done something right, 4 or 5 of us, because we all got in together.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so 12. Once we were 12, we all went over. And we were in the convent choir.
Okay.
And anyone that was in that then, I think you automatically just went over to the, if you wanted to continue singing.
Into the church
Yeah.
choir. And tell me, Terry, I'm sure you have lots of memories of the choir, but could you give us just a little example of maybe one of your fondest memories?
I think there's just so many. All the friendships that we would have kept, even to this day, you know,
Right.
we're still very good friends. There would have been an awful lot of outings. There would have been an awful lot of competitions that we took part in, and we would have taken them all very serious. Vincent was a very, very good choir master and taught us all how to kind of read music.
Wow.
Even though we didn't know how to read in the beginning, like we would look at the sheet music, we knew how to sight read. We sang the Latin Mass for a number of years, and then when the English came in, we sang the English Mass, but we done an awful lot of motets in Latin.
Okay.
And it was very, very, like, to be honest with you, all the memories that I have, they're all encased in that. We would have
Okay.
had practice on a Monday night, we would have had Mass on Sunday morning, Easter, Christmas, they were all big events. And thank God, like, I have to say, only for my mum and dad. My mum mainly, because she would have been the one looking after the children. I would have never been able to go, because as a young mother, You know,
Right.
I had I had my duties as looking after the children.
The children, yeah.
But Mammy lived across the road. I was on Kylemore Road. Mammy lived across the road, and I used to leave them over with her on Sunday. Monday night, obviously, they'd be in bed. My husband would be there, Tony would be there. But only for my mum was so good, babysitting and minding them.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And how many years did you stay in the choir?
I reckon I was about 50 years in it.
Wow.
Yeah. I moved to Wicklow in 2006. And at that stage, Vincent had moved down to St. James's Church. He was organist down there. And I'd done the commute for a little while.
Right.
But obviously, you know, it proved a little bit harder then. And then I was still working full time. So I retired about 4 years ago. So, yeah, but we all do keep in touch. We still keep in touch, an awful lot of the girls now that I would have
Brilliant.
went over from the school.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. We lovely memories now, I have
Brilliant.
to say. Lovely memories. And Vincent himself and his family. Like, we would have had an awful lot of dealings with
the whole lot of
Vincent, with the whole lot of them. And I'm sure we love him to bits. We still
Yeah.
do love him to bits, even though he's not organised.
Yeah, he was a great man.
Yeah, very talented, very
Yeah.
talented.
Okay, thanks a million,
No
Terry.
problem, thank you.
Hey, Angela, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Thanks a million for taking the time out to talk to us here in the Ballyfermot Heritage about the Assumption Choir that you were in. Can you tell us, how old were you when you joined the choir?
I think I was about 12 or 13, because at the time you were sent over from the school.
Okay.
At that time it was just a girls' choir, and we were sent over from the school, so I think you had to make your confirmation.
Okay.
So for me that would probably have been 1966-ish, that time, I think.
Okay.
Haven't got a great memory.
Right.
Yeah.
And tell us, Angela, what were some of the highlights of being part of that choir? Could you tell us a little bit about them?
Oh God, some of the highlights. Well, I remember we won a competition. Vincent wasn't really into competitions. That's
Okay.
the choir master,
Okay.
Vincent Hurley. But he decided that he would enter us into this competition in St. Patrick's Cathedral, choral competition, and it turned out anyway we got first place, so we were all over the moon.
Wow.
I have to say, and it was quite an up there kind of a
Right.
a competition. We sang. The melody is like la 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 la. It was a difficult
Lovely.
piece, and I remember the competitors said afterwards, when they heard we were going to sing that they kind of threw their eyes up to heaven, thinking, "Oh my God, this choir Ballyfermot sort of thing." Well, maybe that's what we were thinking. They were
Okay,
thinking.
yes.
But we perfected it. He had us rehearsed so well that
Brilliant.
we were really. Yeah, we were very proud, I have
Yeah,
to say.
he seemed a very good leader.
He was a
Vincent Hurley.
very good leader. He had a good sense of humour, and he was kind, and we all loved him, I have to say, from the
Okay.
time we were there, as kids, and we kind of grew up with him nearly. He was a bit like a father figure,
Right.
in that sense.
And did he ever sing himself?
Oh yeah, he had a beautiful voice himself. Especially, I remember the times coming up to Christmas and Easter time. Those were very special events in the church, and we'd all like Vincent singing "Oh Holy Night." He did some solo pieces himself,
Okay.
and of course we did the backing and the harmony and that, and it was beautiful. He was a lovely singer. He was originally in St. James's Choir himself,
Ah.
So he had it. He was a fantastic singer. I always knew Christmas was coming, when he'd say, take out whatever hymn number, whatever, in the book, and it would be, O come, Emmanuel.
Oh, come, yeah,
So you had that for
beautiful.
Advent, so
Yes.
you knew, well, Christmas is coming, and we were going to have more rehearsals and all of that. But we all just loved it, because we loved O Holy Night.
When Christ
Loved Silent Night. We loved
Lovely,
all those.
yeah.
They just made Christmas for us. You know, they really made Christmas for
And
everybody.
would you have a 2, 3, 4-part harmonies in the choir? Or?
Yeah, well, it started off with, as I say, just sopranos and altos, all girl. But then later on, gosh, I can't remember the year when we ended up having adults join us. So we had a 4-part choir, soprano, alto, tenor and bass.
Brilliant.
And I remember, I think our noses were a little bit out of joint when the adults joined, you know, because I suppose we were only becoming adults ourselves, you know. But having been in the choir for so long, I think we felt, you know, well, you know, we were kind of, we were up there, you know. But anyway, it worked out really well. It turned out to be a brilliant choir. And Vincent worked hard. You know, we had a practice every Monday night, usually from about 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. And we'd meet early then on Sundays before the Mass and have a bit of a warm-up as well. But none of us could read music, you know, at the time. Very few of us could. But by the time, you know, we'd been rehearsed a lot of the songs, we were able to sight read, and, you know, it got easier over time. And it was very enjoyable, and everybody in the choir got on very well.
Brilliant.
You know, he didn't like cliques and stuff like that, so he was very good at keeping us all kind of united and keeping our feet on the ground, you know.
And tell me this, was there a social side to your choir? Did you just go out? Or?
Yeah, we did. We used to go on outings, choir outings. I think the parish funded them. And I remember we went to Wooden Bridge in Wicklow one time. And we'd have maybe a lunch or that, and afterwards we'd have kind of sing songs around the piano, and everybody get up and do their party piece.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it was really good. And mind you, we were as nervous as hell singing on our own, even though we were used to singing with each other. Getting up to sing on our own was something else, you know. But trying to think of other things. We used to, the other outings we have. Well, I remember going to a parish outing one time in Kiltegan, and the choir were part of that. They decided to have a parish outing, and that was great fun. I remember as well with everybody, every community group in the parish, I think, went. I remember they had sack races, and you know, with all the priests and everything. It was a great crack. Yeah, it was a community thing. It was a social thing. You know, like Monday night going to the choir was something I looked forward to. You know, and meeting my friends and the singing as well. And of course, at the beginning we sang in Latin, you know. All the church music was in Latin, and then we learned to do it in English. But occasionally we'd still sing a Latin motet just during maybe communion for the contemplative part.
Right.
You know, the nice quiet time.
Nice reflection.
It was the reflection time. It was lovely. Yeah,
Brilliant.
really nice. Yeah. So, gosh, you're bringing back nice memories
great.
for me. Thank you.
Not at all. Thank you,
You're
Angela,
welcome.
for talking to us
Thanks
today.
a lot.
Thank you. Mind
Thanks.
yourself.
At a special Mass, Vincent Hurley was presented with the Benemerente Medal to celebrate the 40th anniversary of his appointment as organist and choir master to the parish of the Assumption. Vincent left the choir in 2006, and it was an end of an era. Vincent had given over 47 years service to the Church of the Assumption. Later that year, Rosanna Caulfield, who was the organist in St. Matthew's Church, was appointed musical director in the Church of the Assumption, and so it was the start of a new era.
That was absolutely lovely. All are welcome. It's very appropriate here to the choir in the Assumption Church.
And it is, Sue. Thanks very much for coming and doing this interview. To yourself and Sean for doing this recording of the choir. It's very much appreciated. Yeah, everyone's welcome in this choir, and it's been the motif since I started as well. Anyone that would like to come and sing is more than welcome.
Okay. Can you tell us then, how long are you musical director here of the choir?
I'd say approximately 16 years I've been here.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of founder members here, 40 and 50 years, all very talented, but all very welcoming, and everyone gets on so well.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah.
It's a nice little...
Great friendships.
Yes.
Yeah, great friendships.
And I'm just admiring the organ here, Rosanna. Where did that come from?
Oh, it's fab. It's absolutely fantastic. Fabulous piece of workmanship. We actually got it from when the Pope was here in August 2018 for the meeting of the families. This was the actual organ used for the celebrations in the Phoenix Park, and Father Richard Delahunty, who was the parish priest at the time, decided that we'd purchase this organ for the church and for all the congregation, and the choir absolutely adore it. It's a gorgeous piece of instrument and love playing it.
Could you give it looks like it's an awful lot of different sounds and buttons and stuff. Can you give us a little demo of a few different sounds on it, please?
Of course I will. Firstly, what we mainly use would be the organ sound, and this is a lovely high-tech sound. And it has plenty of different couplers, as you can see, but a couple of ones we use, especially at Mass on Sunday, would be the harp, and it's lovely with the mandolin, or it's lovely with someone singing solo, and I'll give you a little example of it.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
And another sound we use, especially for the solos, we would use the piano sound. Now it's not a baby grand, but it's a nice acoustic sound.
Wow, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And tell me, Rosanna, outside of the choir, do you do events around the community, or is it just solely the choir?
No, we do events outside the church, definitely within the community. We've gone to a vast a number of nursing homes, and around the area, Maryfield, we've done a couple of times. We've been involved with the council for the lighting of the trees at Christmas time, and recently we've been over in the resource centre with the Alzheimer and Dementia group, where the choir would sing, and then a lot of the clients would join in with the singing. And for that moment of time, especially with Jingle Bells or We'll Meet Again, that are, people could become quite coherent for that space of time. The music just reverts them back to a stage where their memory was very vivid. And for those couple of minutes when you see all the patients joining in with the singing, it's fantastic. Fantastic. And the choir love it.
Very rewarding.
Very rewarding. Yeah. One of the most rewarding things we do. We love doing
the
nursing homes and events like that. It keeps the choir, and it gives them something different than just, the religious stuff. We love that, but it's nice to have something extra.
Yeah. So just to say, Sean has been around the past couple of weeks. He's been compiling different arrangements from the group. You have a vast variety of talent here in the group, as you know.
Absolutely.
So will we take a look at a couple of
the arrangements? Yeah, absolutely. Love to, Sean. Okay. Thanks very much. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks a million,
Thank you.
Rosanna. Thank you.
You raised me up so I can stand on mountains. You raised me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulder. You raised me up to more than I can be.
So despised by the world, has a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left His glory above to bear it to dark Calvary.
fading away, lighting the clouds with sleep. And as the evening closes its eyes, I feel your presence near me. For you are always close to me, following all my ways. May I be always close to you, following all your ways, Lord.
Who redeemed your life from the grave, who crowned you with love and compassion. The Lord is compassion and love. The Lord is compassion and love, slow to anger and rich in mercy. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so strong is his love for those who fear him. The Lord is compassion and love. Every night and every day I'll be by your side. Just reach out and take my hand, and I will be your guide. And anytime you feel like you can't make it through, remember me, and I will be with you. Remember me, and I will be with you.
Once again the scene was changed, and the earth there seemed to be. I saw the holy city beside the tideless sea. The light of God was on its streets, the gates were opened wide, and all who would might enter, and no one was denied. Only the moon or stars by night, the sun to shine by day. It was the new Jerusalem that would not pass away.
Hiya John, how are you? It's nice to see you today.
Yeah, it's great. Sun is shining. I'm wearing my St. Patrick's Eclectic top.
Oh yeah, very
So I'm
good.
very
Get that
happy
little
today.
plug in there for them. Tell me John, you're part of the Assumption Choir here. How long are you in the choir?
I'm probably about 10 months in the choir now.
Okay.
It's so welcoming. The choir is so welcoming. It's the people in the choir that make it welcoming. I mean, I know yourself, Sue, since we were that height. So I know you a long time. So it must be 20 years when we were that height. I'm still that height.
10.
But everybody's so welcoming. When I joined the choir, I had Jim, I had Matt, I had Pat. So everybody invited us in, and it was just open arms. And I think whether you can sing or whether you can't, it's just one happy family.
It's one, yes.
It's one happy family.
And tell me, you enjoyed the singing down the resource centre with the choir?
Yeah, the singing was absolutely fabulous. But what was amazing was the people themselves, the people that were there when we were singing in the resort. It was just, it was lovely. It was just amazing. You know,
Okay.
I'm looking forward to doing it again. Hopefully, yeah,
Brilliant,
yeah.
yeah.
It was so nice. It was so nice.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, well, fair play. Thanks a million, John.
Okay, Steve.
Have a good day.
Good
Take
luck.
care. Morning, Angela. Thanks a
morning.
million for taking the time to talk to us today. Can you tell us, how long are you in the Assumption Choir?
I'd say it's about 40 years now.
Wow.
Gone back a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in them years, you must have seen an awful lot of people coming in and out of the choir.
Have. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit, give us a nice memory of this choir?
Well, you make a lot of friends, and they're lifetime friends. And then when there's a lot of them passed away, and we won't forget them.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
lovely friends.
Lovely friends.
Remember them all in our prayers and everything else. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. Thanks a million, Angela. Have a nice day. Hey, Pat. How are you?
Hi, Sue.
It's nice to see you today.
You too, thank you.
You're here, Pat, in the Assumption choir. Can you tell us how long you're in the choir?
I'm in the choir about six years, about.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just love it.
You love it. And can you tell us, what do you love most about being in the choir?
I love the singing
Okay.
and the camaraderie that goes on
Okay.
after the choir, or a
Right.
little bit before that.
Brilliant.
And you have to have that little thing in the choir. You know, it can't be all serious when you're in the church.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So give us one of your fondest memories of being attached to this choir.
Oh God, when I sing "Remember Me," I love that song.
Okay.
And I do sing it in November, and I sing it for my wife's anniversary,
Oh.
always. And I just love that song.
What was your wife's name? Bernie?
Bernie. Yes, yeah.
Good. I'm sure she looks down on you every week
Hopefully,
when
yeah.
you're here singing. How are you, Margaret?
I'm grand, thank you, Suzanne. How are you?
I'm great, thanks very much. It's great to see you today.
It's lovely day.
A lovely day, and Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
You're working here a long time, Margaret, doing voluntary work in the Assumption.
Yeah.
How long are you working here?
I'd say it'd be a long time, maybe 30, 40 years working in the church, because I had to around my boys first, so I couldn't do that when the boys were young.
Right.
The only thing I did when the boys were young was join the choir.
Brilliant. And you're in the Assumption Church choir here. How long are you in the choir, Margaret?
I'd be nearly 50 years in the choir.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because both of my boys are in their 60s, so they would have been 7, 9, 10 when I joined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, can you give us one of your fondest memories, say, of the Assumption choir? I'm sure you have millions of them, but can you just give us one or two?
I'd say one of our fondest memories was when we won a cup in the. We used to do this cup every year, and we always came second or third. And one year it was in St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Wow.
And one year we went down and we heard them calling third was and second, and we were first. And we were so joyed. We really and truly thought it was great. So that was one of my best times in the choir. I love the choir anyway.
Yeah.
You know, the choir today, the choir that it was before. I just love the choir. You know, it's just, the choir has been very good to me through all the ages, through the times when my son had brain tumour, when my first husband died, the choir was there for me. So to me, the choir is part of my life, and it probably will be always, as long as I'm here.
Well, Margaret, thanks very much
Not
for
at all,
talking
and
to us
thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
Right.
Hey Matt, how are you?
Hey, Sue.
It's great to see you today. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the Assumption Choir that you're a member of.
Yes.
Can you tell us how long you're in the choir?
I've been in the choir now about 5, 6 years maybe. I was in choirs, in a lot of choirs, in the Lucan Gospel Choir and all, and I came back to this little choir because I started to come back to Mass 6 years ago. So I said, well, I'm at the Mass, so I may as well join the choir. So I'm here ever since.
Brilliant. And tell us now, when you became famous on Ireland's Got Talent, were you still singing here in the choir at the time?
I was.
You were?
I was in the choir. I wasn't long in the choir. About a year in the choir when I did Ireland's Got Talent. And that was a fantastic time in my life. Yeah, everyone in Ballyfer knew me.
Everyone. Yeah, sure, you're a superstar, Ballyfermot. So can you tell us, what enjoyment do you get out of coming to the choir? I know you say you've come back to Mass, and that's great. But what makes you keep coming back to the choir?
Well, I met the people in the choir, all terrific people.
Okay.
I get on great, and we have great crack with the lads now.
Yeah.
John and Pat and all, and Jim. Jim's a lovely man. They're all lovely people in the choir. Yeah. And that's what I like about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, long may it last.
Long may it last, yeah.
Thanks a million for talking to us
Thank you
today.
very much.
How are you, Bridget and Mary?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. Thanks a million. Can you tell me, how long are you with the Ballyfermot Assumption Choir?
I think over 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in 30 years.
30 years.
30 years, and I'm very happy to be here.
Good. And
it's like a family to me.
Right. And can you give us one of your fondest memories of the choir?
Well, it didn't have to be in the church. When we went as a group, we went off of a night out, like to celebrate being together and all. And I thought something like that was very good as well.
So it's a nice family-friendly.
That's the way I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And yourself, Breda?
Going to RTE to sing with the Mass.
Oh.
Yeah, it was nice.
Brilliant.
Something different, like, you know. So it was lovely.
And I'm sure you have seen different people coming and going down through the years.
There's a lot, yeah.
Very,
I joined with Celia Murray, and you probably know Celia.
Yeah.
And she left only a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot have gone since. Yeah. My own father was in it years ago. Yeah.
And Brother John, of course.
Yeah. John.
My daughter was in it for a little while, but she left.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was great to have her there, but it was many years ago. You know, so she's pretty young, like.
Okay.
And Brother Gus, we
Gus,
miss all them.
You'd miss them. You'd miss seeing them around.
And Paddy McMahon and all them. Sad. But it's great. There's all new people.
There's a lot of new people in, and we're getting to know them.
Good.
They get to know us.
Great.
It's lovely. And yourself.
Well, okay, ladies.
Yourself.
Thanks a million.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Okay, ladies. Have a good day. Take care. How are you, Jim?
I'm reasonably brilliant.
Good. Well,
Not brilliant,
you look absolutely wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Could you tell me, Jim, how long are you part of the Assumption Choir here?
I actually don't know. It dawned on me only yesterday, funnily you asked the question. I am the longest male member now in the choir. That's weird, and maybe it's a sign of my age, things like that people are going off. I'd say it must be about 8 or 9 years more, maybe.
Okay. Now, Jim, I believe you've had a colourful life, to say the least, regarding music. Now, I also know that you like to be in the background, that you don't like to be in the foreground. But could you tell us just a little bit about your life and how the music started for you?
Okay. As a boy, which was a long time ago, I wanted to be in the church choir. I was born in Crumlin, and I wanted to be in the church choir, and only one class in the school was picked to be the choir for the church, so I didn't get doing it until I was in my mid-teens and I joined the men's choir, and I'm at that ever since, choir-wise and professionally. I love choirs. I love the people in choirs. And the other end of it was I had a great friend called Dickie Rock. Now, apart from Dickie, he was also a friend, a fellow called Butch Moore, who sang with a band in Dublin called the Blue Clavins.
All right.
He left, I got the job.
Brilliant.
And from there I joined a band called the Nevada Show Band. I was the band leader with them all my working life on stage. And that's probably one of the reasons, having done that, I prefer now to step back.
Okay.
It's and singing with this choir now is great.
Yes. Yeah.
Great crack. There's great camaraderie in all choirs all over the world. Social choirs. Now, if we're working too strict, really strict, they take that very seriously.
Yes.
But yet our choir is great.
Okay. And can you tell me, just give us one of the biggest highlights of your musical career? I'm sure there's many, but just if you could just pinpoint to one where you went out on stage and you thought, wow, that was brilliant.
Gosh. We did a lot of things. Funnily enough, I remember the lows rather than the highs. And to give you, it makes you appreciate when you do achieve, and our band did. We did very, very well. But I remember playing in Germany, and we started at 8 o'clock.
Evening?
In the evening. We finished at 12.
Okay.
We came back at 2 and finished at 5 in the morning. And when you've done that kind of stuff, you say to yourself, this is really rough and tough, and it was.
Hard work.
So that then when you start doing things, there were years. There was one particular year our band was voted #1 band in the country.
Wow.
That's great for me. I love that.
Yeah.
Our singer, a fellow called Red Hurley, voted the best male singer in the country, the best record in the country, and the female singer, a girl called Kelly, was voted the best female singer. So we got all those accolades in just 1 year. But we were just one of about a dozen top bands. In an area, they reckon there were probably about 600, 800 show bands.
Okay.
I don't know, it's very hard to pinpoint. So it's very hard to actually say what was it that struck. I'm sure when I'm gone away from here I'll be able to say, I should have remembered that. But no, we've lots of great times and great crowds and great camaraderie.
Good, yeah.
Which is a thing which is very important in a choir, in a band such as ours, in soccer even, that camaraderie has to exist, or else personalities start taking over.
Yes.
You can't have that.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks a million for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is counting out the vintage where the grapes are from the sower. He has loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible store. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
You've just been watching the first 69 years of the choir of the Church of the Assumption. And over those years, a lot of Ballyfermot people have passed through the choir. Sadly, a lot of them are no longer with us. So we would like to remember them and thank them for their dedication and their service to the Church of the Assumption Choir in Ballyfermot. And here's to the next 69 years.
Remember me, and I will be with you. Remember me whenever you're afraid, and when you lose your dream. will be with you. Remember me whenever you're afraid. Remember me if there's someone in my place. Anytime you feel like you can't make it through, remember me and I will be with you. Every night and every day I'll be by your side. Just reach out and take my hand and I will be your guide.